do my community work for the Black Rose Collective. Um, I just want to say this, man. And it's trying to show up with felt like with the disappointment of how this session went, not having any of these sentencing bills go through. It only hurts because you believe that the ending was going to be different. You know what I mean? It only hurts because of that. I mean, we get numb to how these systems have treated us over these years, especially us who've been exposed to DOC. We get real accustomed to how they do us, right? But when you have the energy we've had, and folks put everything they had into what we were trying to push through. We had this community support from all these various aspects of our community. We had this consolidated support from folks on the inside. Like, I really believe that we was gonna get some of these bills through, right? And so I just want to know, that I come with, a little bit of a impacted heart as I try to really talk about it. But I think at the end of the day, what's important for us is, I know it's important for me, is for me to be able to continue to heal and deal with my unhealed trauma. I think that's important because we do a community work, y'all, and there ain't nothing worse or disconnecting when your trauma show up in space. You know what I mean? We have to organize together. We have to do this work together. The best thing we got going for us is together. You know what I mean? I don't care how powerful you are by yourself, but when we're together, we're unstoppable, right? And I think when you look at the history, this stuff been undercutting us forever. You know what I mean? Not what they can do or what they refuse to do or what they refuse to see, but us, our reluctance or inability to be able to come together, consolidate our collective power and push through whatever we need to push through. And so I think for me, I get reminded that we are gonna have to do this work together. The system is built in a way to pit us against each other. They do it with grants, they do it with bills. Yep. They do it with every aspect of their system. It's not an accident, right? I think the reality is, I think for us to be able to do our work, to understand that, there's no more powerful substance on this planet besides relationship. And our ability to be able to cultivate these relationships. I mean real relationships, you know what I mean? Not the transactional relationships that capitalism teaches you about. I'm talking about real relationships, you know what I mean? Where that allows for us to deal with the difficulties, deal with not agreeing with what we think is important. You know what I mean? To be able to stomach through that, it takes real relationship. And so I think for us, if we're gonna be a real movement, and I think we have to be, I think this session proves that when no sentencing bill made it through, you know what I mean? We're gonna have to come together. And we have to figure out what together looks like. And we're gonna have to do our own work because like my friend used to always say, he's like the analogize of a doctor. You know what I mean? You gotta wash your hands, man, before you do work. Because if you don't wash your hands, you can contaminate the patient, right? You can contaminate the work. And I think sometimes we're dealing with a real traumatized community. We're still dealing with it. We're still going to the funerals. We're still going to the sentencing hearing. It's still happening. It's not like it's stopped and now we can talk about what it takes to fix it. We're still dealing with it. So we're super traumatized. So I want to invite folks to be able to do our own personal work, right? This ain't me pointing the finger at nobody else. This is me understanding the work that I have to continue to do so that I can show up in a way that's supportive, that's conducive to us being successful, and at the end of the day, getting folks home. You know what I mean? Especially us that have been through it, that we knew what it was like, right? We understood what it was like. I think the only space I had in the penitentiary was the showers, right? When I took a shower by myself, other folks could understand that. For real, because you can take your mask off, right? You just you in the shower, you know what I mean? And you know what I used to tell myself in the shower? I used to be like, man, I just want to go home, man. That's what I used to tell myself. You know what I mean? Sometimes emotional, sometimes not, but that's all I ever wanted. And at the end of the day, I'm here. You know what I mean? And I'm here, and I remember what it was like. And I think remembering what it was like, understanding the relationships that we still have with folks that have been there that aren't here. you know what I mean, that haven't been able to utilize or take advantage of whatever laws have already passed. And it becomes incumbent upon us to try to pave whatever that way is. And so I just want to just say a few words about that. I want us to be able to try to do this work together. It's just difficult, you know what I mean? Get a community gathered together. It's difficult work, all these various powerful personalities in one space. But I think we can do it. Because there's something bigger than us at stake. You know what I'm saying? Folks in there, they human beings, they're people, they got families, they got kids. You feel what I'm saying? Some of that's still my survivor's remorse, right? It still speaks to me a little bit, but at the end of the day, I know the right thing for us to all do is to collectively do this work. So thank you for making space for my voice and for my perspective. Thank you.